Hello and welcome back to another video. This one's going to be something a little bit different. We're currently visiting friends and family, so we're going to be doing some modifications on Serenity here. If you've been keeping up with our last few videos, hint, you'll know that we've just finished doing about 6 weeks of full-time travelling in Scotland. And over that time we've learned quite a lot about what we need for full-time living in this van. Before that trip we'd done sort of like 5 days, 7 days. I think the most we'd ever done was 10. That's really different to living in it all the time. There are things that you can kind of put up with for 5 days and it's not the end of the world, but when you're living in it day in, day out all the time, there are definitely some things that we did that weren't ideal, and so we're now going to address those things and try and make some of those changes. So without further ado, the first job, the most important, again, if you've been following our videos, you'll know, is this heater is knackered and it needs replacing, and so that is what I'm going to be starting with today. I thought I disconnected the exhaust from under the van, but seems to still be connected, so I have to take a look under the van and see what's going on there. Concentration, Faith. Success. The next area of slight complication here is that this is the fuel tube that goes from here down into the floor, and then it goes up into there. Now, because there's still fuel in there and there's still fuel in there, in order to get rid of this I need to disconnect that, but as soon as I disconnect that, loads of fuel is going to start pouring out, and I'm yet to figure out what I'm going to do about that. Oh, I'm no physicist, but I thought that the pressure from the tank would push the fuel out. I don't know why it's not, but it's not coming out, which is good because there's not diesel all over the floor. I am now stuck holding this. It hasn't quite gone how I planned. Okay, I think I do know some physics. The lid of this is sealed, which creates a vacuum, which means that the fluid won't run out of the end of the tube. But I think when I undo this, that lets air in here, and then that will push the fuel out of the end of the pipe. Let's give that a go. Still no. Physics 1, Ben 0. So the old heater is out. I'm probably going to reuse the exhaust tube because we had to extend it. So I'm going to disconnect this, keep this, and then figure out the fuel thing. It's going to leave that there for a bit. If the fuel isn't all going to run out of here, which apparently it's not, I'm just going to take this off the wall. I'm going to take the whole thing off and then manually drain the fuel from here back into the can. Yeah, that's going to work, right? I'll find out in a minute. Oh, fucking fiddlesticks, wanker. Right, you go in there. That is now empty. That is now very, very full. Little dribble. The exhaust pipe is kind of stuck. I don't really know how to get it off. Yes! Success! Success is mine. Okay, phase 2. Motherboard. Glow plug. Gonna have a bit of a tidy up now and then start on the reinstallation. New plate is attached to the new heater. Next thing to do is to reattach the new fuel hose, the new exhaust and the new air intake. They're all going to get attached to the base here. I'll then feed all of those through this hole, and then it's just connecting all the electrics together and testing it. At the moment I'm feeling optimistic. Should be easy. Okay, after a bit of Googling and watching a couple of YouTube videos on some bits I wasn't sure on, I think I've got the lay of the land of what to do. The kit that we've ordered this time, the heater, actually comes with some slightly better parts, which is really, really good. But it means they have to be installed slightly differently to how I did it last time. So I was just kind of brushing up on that. And now I think I'm feeling confident. Can you be feeling confident if you only think you're confident? Getting there. Connecting. Okay, my phone battery died, so I had to charge it before I could carry on, but new heater is in. Filter, pump are both connected, and the exhaust and everything is connected underneath, as is the fuel intake. Chaos and mayhem rules supreme in the van at the moment. And then there's all this shit here as well. You may recall there being something there before, but that all has to come off for another job that I'm going to be doing. And to get at the controller for this, to change it, I also had to take that off anyway. So there's been a bit of a pause in doing the actual heater install while I took all that off. But I'm losing the light now anyway, so I'm probably going to pack it in, have a bit of a tidy up, and then carry on tomorrow. Okay, welcome back to day 2 of our van modifications. We're taking a quick break on the heater for today. Most of the heater is set up and ready to go. It just needs literally fuel in it, electrics connected up, and then we can test it. But before that, you may remember before there was a load of panelling here made up of these. It was like a solid barrier between the living area and the garage back here. One of the things we realised living full time in the van is that it actually became a massive pain having to go out of the van from the side door all the way around the back and then in every time we wanted to get something out of the back, because we were storing a lot of stuff back there, and the electrics are back there that allow us to use 3-pin plugs like a laptop charger or whatever. So whilst we like the aesthetic of the panelling, we're going for something more functional, which is going to be panelling down the sides. And then Jess came up with a really good idea of just putting a thermal curtain here in the central portion that would just allow really easy access to the back when we need to get stuff out of boxes or do anything to the electrics. So today's job is going to be putting the panelling back on, but just on the sides, and then maybe going to a shop and trying to find a suitable thermal curtain to go here. Once all that's done, I will then connect up the heater, put the control panel on, put the fuel in it, and give it a test. So let's go. Jess creeping from the window. Crawling out like the creature from the deep. Don't you love it when you find exactly the little tiny thing that you need in the bottom of a box somewhere? Oh! Oh!
Oh! Oh!
I thought of something. Do you want to get a can of diesel? The Tesco's petrol station around that area might sell jerry cans and you just fill up the can with diesel. No?
Too nervous.
About what?
Too nervous.
Why? You just fill it up with diesel. 5 litres. I'm doing that later then, am I? Fuck me.
Bye.
See you later. Okay. Jess has gone off to look for curtains to put here. I'm hooking up the rest of the electrics, and then we just need to go and get some fresh diesel, and then we can try the heater. Where does that go? Oh. So I've now more or less finished wiring up the heater. I've attached all the wires to run up along the bed. That keeps them a bit tidier than they were last time. So now we just need to buy some fresh fuel, put some fuel in the tank, and then fire it up and see if it works. Try priming again. Priming.
Oh no.
Nope. It's stopped completely.
Oh no. What's happened?
What does it say on the screen?
Nothing. Oh. It sort of stopped completely and now it's trying to go again.
Okay, so yesterday ended in a mildly upsetting way where not only did the heater not work, the fuel tube got full of air bubbles and the tank sprung a leak all at the same time. So having recovered from that, we have concocted a brand new dastardly plan, ordered some bits, and in the meantime, the sink. Observe, if you will, this marvel of engineering, consisting of an old funnel I found in the garage and some used irrigation pipe from my old job, and held together with some mastic as well as prayers. But in all seriousness, this is something that desperately needs to be upgraded. Everything I said there is true. It is made from old parts that I basically found. And the problem that we have is pretty disgusting, which is that because this is a funnel, the sides of the funnel that are wider than the hole in the sink just get like caked on with like old bits of food and stuff, and then it gets moldy, which we discovered recently, and that's obviously not good. So one of the priority jobs is doing something about this shit show. Look at that, is disgusting. Yeah. Right. Phase 1 complete. Okay, so I put some water through it just to test, and there was a little leak, which I thought it probably would be because it wasn't tight. So I've very artfully and professionally put some sealant around there. I'm going to wait for that to set, and then tomorrow I might even put a little bit more on, and then I'll reattach the hose and give it a test. Right, the new sink is now in place. Now to run some water through it and see in how many places it leaks. Wish me luck. Amazingly, I can't feel any water or see any. Could it be that I actually got it right first time? Seems unlikely. That is bone dry though. Water drained into the tank. No complaints there. Brand new sink. Okay, so my first attempt at doing this didn't work because the fuel tube here got loads of air bubbles in it because we realised there was a leak in the old fuel tank. So I've changed the fuel tank. I've changed the way that the fuel is extracted from the tank, which should prevent leaks in the future. But because the fuel tube has got loads of air in it now, I need to get all that air out, including the little bits of fuel that are in the tank. So I need to draw all of that out and then put fuel in the new tank and then draw fuel all the way up so it's nice and close to this. And that, I'm hoping, fingers and toes and everything else crossed, should help. So have a syringe, and I'm going to use the syringe, I plan to to draw all the air and fuel out of this tube. So, wish me luck. No, it's not going to work. No. It's because the tube's too small for that to get into. Way too small. Okay, plan number 2. I'm going to use some of this rubber tubing as an intermediary between the syringe and the fuel tube and see if that works. Ha 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 ha!
It's working!
Now
we're talking.
We're on to something. Yeah, just try turning it on.
It's making that noise again. Heat!
The fuel proper has now reached.
Yeah. No, it's coming, it's doing it. I think we might be on to a winner here.
Is that heat? Proper heat?
It's heat.
Right, well it's working.
It's working. Oh yeah.
The heater is working.
Why does it stop pumping? Oh.
Error?
Error.
What error?
08.
Right, we haven't had 08 before, that's exciting. The heater has now been kicking air out for a good couple of minutes. Hot air. There's heat coming out of this. It hasn't yet thrown the error code, but I'm not celebrating just yet. I'm sitting here like an anxious parent, waiting for something to go wrong. Nobody get too excited, but this heater has been on for about 10 minutes. You heard it. 10 minutes. Just under the van, securing the what's-my-jiggy exhaust to the underside of the van so it doesn't move. And this is what I look like. That's a flattering angle, if ever I saw one.
We have something very exciting to show you. Firstly, my nicely made curtain.
Very nice.
Wait, doesn't look very fancy with that there. We have a working heater. Can you hear it? Heat.
You probably can.
Heat.
Yeah. If only you could see heat on camera.
It's so warm.
This is the second time we've run it, and it just works as it should do.
Yep.
So I'm allowing myself to be cautiously optimistic.
We have heat.
You're like one of those fancy birds that do little dances. Yeah.
I've just realised what an absolute state my entire other half is as well.
Oh. Kind of a last big job, well, it's a medium-sized job, this is the area above the cab. Step back. Oh god, I'm about to hit something off. Right, so that's just above the cab there. We put the silver foil, which is kind of it's not even really insulation, it's a semi-insulation, it's like bubble wrap in silver foil. We put that up there. We never bothered to put anything else more permanent there. So I'm finally getting round to it, and I'm putting just some more carpet. It's a really simple, easy, not very nice option, but this gets really heavily condensationed, obviously, because it's foil. So we're putting some carpet on there to try and stop that happening, and also just to make it just a bit warmer, a bit nicer, and so it's actually got kind of a finish on it. And to do that, I'm using this stuff, which is like a spray-on glue, which apparently is very carcinogenic, very bad for you. So yeah, using that sparingly. But that's going up here, and then I'm sticking this carpet kind of down bit by bit as we go. Wow. Whoa. And should I be doing this with eye protection and a mask? Yes. Do as I say, not as I do. There is some carpet. Just need a bit more now to cover the rest. Once again, the camera died, but I have finished the lovely carpeting up here. Professional, tidy. You can barely even see the seams, but it doesn't matter. It's purely functional. Don't care what it looks like. We're not even going to see it. So that will at least defend a little bit, hopefully, against the condensation, and makes it a little bit warmer, a little bit more insulated, and just looks a tiny bit better. As a little bonus job, I'm going to do a little experiment and see if I can put a door up here. So this is hinged, and then that will just, I don't know whether it makes it look nicer, maybe it makes it look worse, who knows. But the plan is to put a door here. It will stop the stuff that goes in there kind of falling out as we drive, and it just neatens it up a little bit. So I think it's going to work, but this is a little bit of a put it together and see what happens. There you go. It's not bad. Sure, there's a massive gap there. Sure, it doesn't really line up. And there's an equally massive gap there. But come on. Who cares? It does the job. I'm happy with that. I was particularly pleased with this. Look how satisfying this is. Oh, beautiful stuff. Right, it's pitch black outside, so I think it's probably time I call it a day. So that is just about the end of the modifications video. It is ungodly cold this morning. I don't know if you can see my breath there. But I'm pretty pleased with what we've managed to do. We've fixed the heater, we've put the curtain in, put the little door over the cab, we've done the curtain in the cab, we've fixed the sink. We've got quite a bit done, all of which really needed doing, and Serenity is now ready for the next leg of her adventure. We also did a few other smaller bits and bobs which probably weren't worth filming, but we'll show you those in an upcoming van tour video which we plan on doing. But other than that, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed my slow descent into madness as I attempted to do all this, and we'll see you in the next one.